Now, this looks like a lot of stuff, but it's going to be a vegetable soup. Bit of beef. We cooked some burgers up the other night. We couldn't eat them all, so they're not going to go to waste. We're going to break them up and put them in the soup. Some sweet potato, with some oregano, and some bit of sage, onion, bit of garlic, couple of carrots, a couple of mushrooms, bit of celery hiding underneath there. There's 4 good sized potatoes, and what I'm going to do is cut all of them up, and I'm going to put them in the big pot to start cooking. But first I'm going to cook a bit of the onion and the garlic in a bit of olive oil just to soften them, and then we'll add the vegetables and the stock. You can make your own stock, but I'm going to choose today real stock, beef. Alright, this is 4 cups of stock in there, and I'll just add water if I need more. So let me cut all these vegetables up and get the onion and garlic ready to go. Everything's sort of been peeled and cut, and even the old burgers, well not old burgers, from yesterday, I've just broken them up. We'll go in the cooking process. What we're going to do now is get the big pot. Right here. And get a big pot. When you're cooking soup or even stews, have a big pot. So let's turn on the burner reasonably high. Now, olive oil, because what we're going to put in here first is the onions and the garlic. So that onion's been cut up. This is leftovers, literally, other than having onions, carrots, potatoes, leftover burger chopped up. I've even got a little bit of spaghetti bolognese I might throw in there. So in goes the garlic and the onion. At this stage I will put in the celery and some of the cut up sage and oregano. Head down towards getting a wooden spoon with a bit of a spare. Add a bit more olive oil if you think it's not burning but sticking. And give these a quick zap. Get them started. Oh, smell those too. Now, put in how I do cutting up potatoes. You saw that they won't cut up. Well, I've been doing this so long. Don't do this if you don't know how to do it. Is size important in the pieces of potato? Not really. I think we're going to get a masher on this soup anyway. Not pulverise it completely, but a little bit. So if you know how to cut potatoes up, you'll be doing what I'm doing. And it's a soup. Then there's a bit of olive oil in there. Now I am going to add stock. Just a little bit of water. About half a cup. And that will also help cut down the bloody noise because it was getting loud. So again, if you want to cut potatoes on a board, by all means do so. If you have the level of skill to do it like this, do it. It's a lot easier. Right, so I've cut, there's 3 quite large potatoes and 1 medium that's going into this one. Here's the last one. Okay. Now there are no rules with soup. You can get recipes. God help me if someone gave me a recipe. I will be cooking this soup. During the process I'll be tasting it. I'll be adding bits and pieces. Now there's a little bit of sweet potato we have here, so I'm going to put that in. Just another layer of flavour. Same if you're not comfortable, cut it on a board. Quite easy to cut sweet potato for sure. So these are just layers of flavours. That's what food is all about. Finding what flavour you like. Do you have to make the exact same thing every time? Well, I could never do that. It would be similar every time. You can see that those veggies are starting to sweat off with the onions, a bit of garlic. Potatoes are in. That's the last of the sweet potato. Let's throw the carrots in. Beautiful. Now, the reason I never worry about when I start cooking a soup like this with bits and pieces and leftovers in vegetables there's lots of fluid, and I mean lots of fluid. Let's throw the mushies in, and let's throw in this, well, burger remnants. In that burger there is garlic and a bit of onion as well. Mix all that around. Although I'll be seasoning as I go, I'm going to add some seasoning very, very shortly. So let me just get this out. Which is the stock that I bought, which you can make. Making the stock is quite easy. So this is the beef stock, about 4 cups. Smells good. You're probably saying, my God, that looks a mess. All that different type of food in there. You'd probably go to a fancy restaurant and they'll probably cook something like this and you'll sit there and go, wow, this is good. Now these people know what they're doing. Soup of the day, if people do not know in the restaurant industry, is yesterday's food leftovers put in a pot. Soup of the day. Now, this is a bit of spaghetti bolognese that we didn't use, so that's going in the pot. Okay, that's more beef, bit of onion. This is truly a leftover soup now. Let's mix all that up. Beautiful. Now I'm happy with the level here. If you see where those vegetables are sitting, it's just about level with the liquid. Now you could put a whole heap more of liquid in there, but you don't have to. Just have it on a medium heat. You want to bring this to a boil, but you want to turn it down to a simmer. And as it goes through this process, vegetables release their liquid, and you'll see a little bit later on it'll start releasing it. I'm just going to add a little bit of pepper, dried parsley, there we go, a little bit of parsley, I love pepper, not too much, this is a soup, so pepper for that. Now, something you may or may not have seen before, I'm sure the older people, really old people from the old land. This is pearl barley. Now I grew up having a lot of this. Now, if you're saying that's a hard grain, what are you doing? Well, it cooks beautifully, and there's plenty of grains you can actually put in soups. What this is going to do, this will cook, expand and become soft and nutty is the best way to describe it. So that's about it at this stage. I'm just going to give that a bit of a stir. So how long will this take before you can eat it? I don't know. When it's ready. Soups and stews are, for me, they dictate the terms. Get them hot enough, let them simmer, check the flavours, check the salt and the pepper. I know because of what I put in there. I'm just going to put in about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, just for now. And I don't normally salt food as I go. I've already put the black pepper in, so that'll do. There's another little secret for beef stews or beef soups. Worcestershire. And what am I putting in? Tablespoon. Alright, now what we're going to do is let it do its own thing. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm more than happy there's enough liquid in there for now, and the vegetables will release more liquid as we go. So let's put the lid on. Probably have a cup of coffee, come back in about 10 or 15, give it a bit of a stir and see where it's up to then. Right, it's about 20 minutes. I had a quiet beer actually. Very nice. It's boiling quite strong, so I'm actually going to turn that down a little bit. So I like to simmer. I still want a roll of a bit of a boil go through there, but you can see it's all starting to break down and the vegetables are cooking. And that will be, ooh, I don't know, I'm going to come back in another 20 minutes. But like I said, I'll just zoom that in a little bit. We're just talking about the, getting some food that we would have probably given to the cat or the dog, and we're going to eat it. Leftover spaghetti bolognese, couple of burgers broken up, veggies. It smells fantastic, I've got to tell you. And I'm going to leave this another 20 or 30 minutes, and then I'm going to come back and taste it and see what I think it needs. You'll see people go in the kitchen, taste food and go, mmm. And then they go, right, bit of pepper, or maybe a touch of this or a touch of that. So let it do its job, and we will come back in about 15 or 20 minutes. That's about another 15, 20 minutes. I should have fogged up the screen nicely. Let's see if we can get it to clear. 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 Okay. So like you see, when I first started I only just had the liquid up to the top. You can see a lot more liquid in there now from the potatoes. Now out of all the vegetables that went in there, the slowest one to cook will be the carrots. So let's have a feel. They're still a bit firm. Sweet potatoes quite soft. Potatoes 3/4. That needs a bit more time. But now I'm going to give it a taste test. Okay. Let's see what it tastes like. Oh, that's beautiful. I don't think I'll be adding anything, to be honest. Alright, we'll leave it to its job. Come back in another 15 or 20. There's no rush with the soup, and there's no like, oh, it's got to be cooked by. You could cook this the day before. We'll have heaps of soup left over from tonight. We'll have some crusty bread with this. But there's probably, well, I'm guessing 6 to 8 bowls of hearty soup in there. You'll see near the end I'm going to give it a bit of a mash to thin it down a little bit, but it'll thicken up then too. So let's just let it do its job, and we'll come back a little bit later. No rush. Okay, this is getting pretty close. It's probably been about an hour since I started. Let's find a bit of carrot. Like I say, carrot is the that's not too bad. You see all the vegetables. Now what I'm going to do is give them a bit of a mush. It's not going to be completely pulverised, believe me. Just give them a bit of a mush for the final 15 or 20 minutes to cook. There'll still be some nice big chunky bits in there. You don't have to do this, by the way. It's just what I want to do with this. You can have it nice and thick and chunky anytime you like. You can see there's a difference coming over the soup now. And with those leftover hamburgers and that bit of spaghetti bog, there's quite a lot of beef in that. Alright, that's not completely pulverised. You can see it's a lot thicker. Okay? A lot thicker. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to add late now to some butter beans. I like them. So they'll go in. They'll just be warming through. A bit of a stir. This is a really thick soup, like I said at the start, and I love it this way. And give it another taste test. That's beautiful. Alright, those veggies are just about done. I'm going to give them another, I've lowered the temperature down now, very low, just slow simmer, probably give another 15 or 20, and then I'm going to dish it up. Be back then. Alright, this is ready as far as I'm concerned. Just let that steam go away. Beautiful. Really thick soup. And like I say, I gave it a bit of a mash earlier, but I haven't taken away some of the chunky bits, which I like. So now I'm going to dish that up. Let's turn that off. let's dish this up. It's thick soup. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, there's one. Like I say, this is just delicious. It's not a loose soup, it's nice and thick. When it comes down to the ingredients I showed you today, that's just what was hanging around. Carrots, potatoes, left over this, left over that. Still going to give me a delicious meal. And again, I think we've got another 4 or 5, maybe 6 meals in here. So that will keep, and that will feed us on and off for 3 or 4 days. And now let's just, I don't know, let's cook a muffin up each and have it with our soup. And I'll show you the final product right after this. Alright, going to have a bit of English muffin. You can have toast, you can have just bread and butter, crusty bread. So, there we go. That's soup. You can make it with whatever you like. You can make it thinner. I don't think you can make it much thicker. And we're going to have some nice toasted muffins with it. So give it a go. If you're not sure, please, if you're genuine, ask me questions. And I'm more than happy to answer them. So if you have been watching this short series of basic cooking, I hope you're getting something out of it. And as always, if you have been watching, thank you.